Hello everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm NV Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back with the last bit of Miyazaki month that we're going to be doing for the month. And yeah, we watched Howl's Moving Castle. So that's a decent way to end things off, right? I don't know. How does everyone feel? Has everyone seen this? I'm assuming every single one of these things we've all seen this month, so, but who saw this before, I guess? Have we been doing this? When did you guys first watch?
Our anime club Miyazaki movie marathon. I don't know what year, but yeah, it was one of those.
That'd be like 2014.
I think
Probably when it was.
I think I saw this sometime when I was in middle school or high school. I don't remember exactly when, but it was around that time.
Yeah, I also want to say I saw it at least in high school, if not in high school, at least in college at some time.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say like middle school. Whenever it played for free on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it was also college for me.
Yeah, I think it was later for me as well, though I couldn't say exactly when. At a certain point, you hit that point when you're just like watching so many things that everything sort of runs together a little bit. This might have been one of the ones that I was like, yeah, let's watch everything all at once, you know? So this came out in 2004, and this is 20 years old now at that point then.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's a nice thing to end the month on then. That's good. Okay. So, yeah, what do we want to talk about first? Like, is this, because we've been talking a little bit when we get started about, like, where is this for, like, a lot of people? Was it, like, fond memories, not so fond memories? I mean, I feel like most of the time people tend to enjoy the Miyazaki stuff, but, you know, I'll leave it up to interpretation. Was this, like, anyone's favorite from back in the day?
It's weird. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely one of the ones that I like.
Yeah, it's up there for me, but not a favorite.
It's weird. From what I mean, I enjoyed this movie a lot too. It's maybe my top 5. I will say it's weird seeing this movie, you know, be discussed online. It's either a cult favorite where it's number 1 for people, top 3 for people, or overrated for people. I've seen like those 3 opinions, and I've never seen any other one of those.
Yeah, I can kind of see that a little bit. I can see this going a couple different ways for a lot of people, but I guess we might as well get into the meat and potatoes of it. So this is it's honestly, the world's a little bit like Kiki, but like almost in a different era, I guess, because it's a magical world, a semi-magical world at the very least. Most people are just living their lives, but there are wizards and witches and all sorts of stuff like that. And some of them everyone's a little bit like weary of a few of them, and other ones I guess are okay. You can make a living out of doing whatever you're doing. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that semi-magical world that we have in this and Kiki and some of his other movies a little bit, but that's nice. And we get to meet Sophie, who's our main character, who gets cursed by a witch after she meets Howl for the first time, and he protects her from some predatory guard types. And yeah, then it's her trying to get this curse removed, and she goes and finds Howl, and this is actually one of the more plot-heavy ones that we've watched this time around, I feel like.
I don't think he was protecting her. I think he was using her as a diversion.
That as well. I mean, hey, 2 things can be true at once, can't they? I feel like Howl is one of those characters who always has an ulterior motive to any action that he does. So, I don't know. Does anyone else get that vibe, or am I alone on that?
I mean, he definitely gave off that vibe in the book.
Yeah, I would say more in the book than in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the book, like, they are constantly bickering. It's quite funny.
It's funny, but I will say, I feel like Howl and Sophie are not as likable in the books.
Oh, by far, no. The thing is the fact that, like, a lot of times, I think Ghibli has a tendency to make the characters more likable, so you're rooting for them, but...
Like, honestly, I do not think, if it was a more faithful adaptation, I do not think anybody would be thirsting over Howl, because he's kind of a dick. And Sophie's kind of a bitch. And they're just constantly, like Cheeb said, like they're at each other's throats.
Oh, yes.
It's weird. You describe it that way, and I'm almost like, well, I guess they deserve each other.
It's weird you describe it that way. I'm like, oh, that's my type. I might be more into that.
Here's the
Which
thing.
one?
In the book community,
both.
a lot of people are really into that. So, and because this is a book, I'm like, this makes sense.
I want to ask, I guess, if we want to like lean into this because we brought this up with some of the other films. So, who here has read the book? I guess is a good question to start.
Me.
Okay, so you'd be probably the best authority on this. How is it looking as far as an adaptation of it goes?
It's not a bad adaptation. I think though that the movie is actually sort of superior to the book.
It makes more sense, at the very least.
Yes. Also, a little spoiler for the book, Howl's actually a person from Earth who's from Wales and not of this magical world. So that's also a thing.
So wait,
It goes back and forth.
so Howl's isekaiing right now?
Yep.
Oh,
Pretty much.
My goodness.
How he discovered he could do that, who fucking knows, but...
I mean, I think, isn't that one of the things on the door?
Yeah, I think
Like-
he just flips and flops around wherever he wants.
Like, I think, like, the black one that they don't go to, I could be wrong. It's been a couple years since I've read it. I think
No,
one of
I
them
mean-
goes to Wales.
Yes, that is one of the things. But, like, originally, how did he discover he could do this?
I forget. It was somewhere in the middle of the book.
Well, if I'm thinking about it, he was Wales, that's the UK, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Part of it. So possibly during World War II, he was sent to a place out in the middle of nowhere with some professor-type guy with his 3 siblings, and he found a wardrobe, and then, I don't know, he ate a star. I'm assuming he could just do whatever he wants.
But
So
the thing is, like, they remarked that he was, like, entirely unremarkable, like, on Earth.
Yeah.
interesting.
Like, he was just some nerdy guy.
And then he goes to
Yep.
the other world,
With
and
computers.
now he's in the other world, and he's like Regina George. Everyone is obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now I need someone to edit a trailer for Howl's Moving Castle in the style of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Howl is fierce. His hair is like insured for $1 million. He punched me in the face once. It was awesome.
No, now you just made that joke you made earlier. That just made me want a Narnia anime series now. Like adapt all 7 books now.
Honestly, might not be bad, but
Oh, okay. So I'm reading the Wikipedia page because I needed to remember some things. According to the Wikipedia, Cal's character, he gave Calcifer his heart in order for the demon to keep living. So because he felt sorry for him.
Okay.
And he is immediately implied to have sapped his humanity away.
so it's Dragonheart. If anyone's seen that one.
A little bit.
Wait, has
I don't
someone?
know if you would.
Does someone actually get my reference there?
I don't know if you know this, Chibs. I know famously the author of Tales from Earthsea did not like the movie. Did the author of Howl's Moving Castle not like this movie as an adaptation, but liked it as its own movie?
I think
Or
they're dead.
Yeah.
It's an
Diana
old
Wynne.
book.
I was gonna say Diana Wynne Jones. This was published back in 1986.
Well, she died in
let's see, when
2011, so she would have been around whenever it came out.
Yeah, I was just looking into this because I had the same question. Miyazaki gave her a private screening of the film, and she really liked it. She was like, "This is a great movie. Like, it's not going to be exactly like the book because books and movies are different. I
Mhm.
write books, he writes movies.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like, I accept that it's a different story, just with, like, the same characters. But it was really well done.
Yeah, I would say that, like, I think an author who would have written this book would probably appreciate what it did. Because this is a good movie, to be fair.
It also made a lot of people love her characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Should we talk about a few of them? I mentioned them briefly in our very short summary. There's also a subplot about war and a whole bunch of other things going on, but we don't really care about that. We care about Howl and all the stuff going on there.
Yeah, that makes more sense in the books.
That's me finishing off the plot section.
And the cutest little flame ever.
Yeah. So, who do we want to talk about first? We should probably talk about the protagonist, Sophie, a little bit. She's kind of like this, I wouldn't call her a home, but she's like a,
She's
not very
the
social.
eldest
She's
daughter, and
eldest
I
of
think
two
their
daughters.
mother died.
No, she's alive. In the movie, at least, she's alive because she's a character. But she's one of those, like, marries a whole bunch of different people pretty regularly kind of people.
Yeah, Sophie got, like, parentified.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, and I don't know if anyone else got this, her sister and mom kind of remind me of, what was her name from Princess and the Frog?
Tiana.
No.
No,
The
Lottie.
other,
Oh,
her friend.
Charlotte?
Lottie.
Yeah,
Charlotte.
Lottie. Sophie
Lottie.
reminds me a little bit of Tiana without the charisma.
Yeah, that was gonna be the comparison I made. Like, she's not a homebody. She's just
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, she's not very
Because-
social.
If she doesn't work, who's going to?
Yeah. But then she meets Howl, and a witch who is obsessed with Howl curses her to be old, but only some of the times. They never really explain the curse itself. I'm assuming it's
Like
I
strong.
think
based on emotional states.
Yeah.
I think it's dependent upon how she's feeling.
And it's specifically like about herself and her own self-image, I believe.
Okay, so when she's feeling more confident, she gets young again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can get behind that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because a lot of it's about like self-acceptance.
Right. Yeah.
God, this is very Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, just a bit. But
I mean, technically, this came out first.
yeah.
Well, I guess the story of The Princess and the Frog is old. The Disney movie is 2009.
Well, we also get an actual Princess and the Frog moment at the end of the movie, but we can get to that when we get to that. Yeah, I'm like just looking on some of the stuff on the wiki page and like themes of old age and different things like that. There's some positivity about certain things. Like, weirdly enough, she gets more confident as she gets old. Maybe it's just she doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like, you ever notice that some old people they just don't care anymore? So they're like, yeah, I've already lived. I don't need your opinions. I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
That is sometimes a good
She's just
mentality.
got old people energy. She's comfortable as an old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even in that sense, like the Japanese revere the elderly
Yeah.
quite a bit, so that's just kind of a thing. Like, she's
Yeah.
basically being a hero in her own right, like, even though, she's an old woman.
Yeah.
But
And again, she got parentified very young, so she probably is like, I finally match how I feel.
I feel like we're all getting there a little bit.
Especially Kozi.
Yeah. Wow.
No,
Throwing
like you were
that out there.
parentified like that.
Oh.
that is fair.
No,
Mm.
That is-
Cece's calling me old.
You had to raise like 6 children.
Is it just me where like I'm kind of like looking at this a little bit, and I'm looking at last week with Kiki a little bit. I'm like, are these Miyazaki movies getting more and more relatable? It's like we're starting to actually get old after we already feel old. Hey, we tried to make our passions into our careers, and then we just hated everything.
Yeah. I could see
These
it.
movies are ahead of their time, man.
I feel like that's just something that why these movies resonate so well even as we get older, because there are parts of it that resonate with us when we're young,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are other parts of it that like they make a lot more sense to us as we age. And it's just one of those things that's like, this is why these movies are timeless.
Yeah.
Because anyone at any age can kind of relate to it.
Yeah, and if repeat viewings at different ages can give you whole new perspectives on characters and notice things that you did before. It's really nice.
It's like that. It's like that meme where it's when you're younger, you relate to SpongeBob. As you get older, you become Squidward.
Yes.
But I think it's best
Yeah,
to
but-
still want to be SpongeBob at the end of the day.
I think you can
It's
still
really-
relate to like the main characters.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think the whole point is just don't become Plankton.
Yeah.
Or
Fair.
Mr. Krabs.
That too.
Yeah, I mean they're both kind of the same thing to a degree. Yeah, so this, I mean, it has an anti-war message, which a lot of Miyazaki movies have. This one was specifically coming off the tail end of, or not the tail end, it was the start of the 2003 invasion of Iraq by the United States, which Miyazaki was very against. They mentioned this pointless war many, many times. So I'm trying to think, because we had a couple things that were kind of similar when we watched Castle in the Sky. Anyone notice he makes a lot of vehicles like bugs?
Yes.
I
I
mean,
I was actually gonna bring that up because, like, for a movie that's now 20 years old,
Mhm.
it was probably a mix of 2D and CG for the actual castle itself. It
Little
actually
bit.
holds up pretty well. The castle itself, like the moving castle.
Yeah, I think so too.
so he tries to design a lot of his stuff to be organic in nature.
Yeah.
Mainly because we know it works. And like bugs, especially with flying, like there are so many bugs that when you look at them, you're like, that shouldn't work. That should not be able to fly.
Well, I
But
mean,
it do.
as one of the greatest movies of all time tells us,
According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible.
Bees are filled with helium.
sure, we'll go with that. I realized we were talking about characters and we sort of went off onto a different thing. How do we, like, Howl, how would we describe him in this? And maybe even how would we describe him versus the book? We talked about him a little bit, but, like, Chibi, what's some of the main differences here? I'm kind of interested.
For what specifically?
I guess just how he is in general, his characterization, maybe?
He's just more of a little shit.
Really?
That's it.
That's all?
Yes.
The movie gives more like brat energy, but the book gives dick energy.
Yeah. Yeah, he honestly, like, he's kind of insufferable. Well, not kind of, he is. Which is why him and Sophie are always butting heads. And honestly, like, I like movie Howl a lot better than I like book Howl.
Oh, yeah. Also, like, they gave him, like, such, like, charisma and riz. I know that's the same thing, but, like, they gave him so much in the movie that he did not have in the book.
Yeah.
Like, he was a massive flirt, but he wasn't good at it.
He was pathetic.
I gotta be real. Part of that, and I think it is in the character design and all the animation and that, but at least for me, because I watched the English dub whenever I watched this today, I feel like Christian Bale might be giving one of his most charming performances in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that definitely helps, for sure.
I'm almost kind of going like, could you have put a little bit of this on Bruce Wayne, and then you could have had like almost the perfect back and forth there between the
But
two.
see, like, in the movie, like, you're supposed to find him very charming and elegant up until the scene with the hair.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even
You're like,
then,
what the fuck just happened?
even then,
Honestly,
I still kind of like him.
the hair wasn't the thing that got me. It was just all of the slime.
Yeah,
No,
that
that's
was
what I
weird.
mean. Like, it's not the hair. It's, like, his reaction to the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But the reaction is what causes the slime. And I'm
Yeah,
just
so
like,
you can wrap
you're
that up in there.
disgusting. Get up.
I do kind of want to ask about that because, like, I guess Wizard on its own can have many different ways of an interpretation. Like, you know, how we think of wizards in Harry Potter is not the same way you think about wizards in Tolkien. Is, you know, clearly there's a different kind of thing going on
Say
here.
he's more warlock.
Yeah, that's kind of I am starting to think of things a lot more in D&D terms. He does not give wizard to me. He's got you said warlock. I was thinking maybe some sorcerer, maybe a little bit whatever the charisma ones are.
No,
But he doesn't-
I'm saying, like, he made a pact for his
No, yeah.
power.
I'm just thinking he multi-classed. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Are you saying he didn't dump stat intelligence?
I think he probably dumped stat intelligence, but he might have taken like a expertise in Arcana to make up for it, because he has to know something about magic, unless he's a sorcerer, which is the nepo babies of casters. So
He does have an apprentice, so...
that's true. He gives off more wizard vibes whenever he's in his little get-up. That's Josh Hutcherson, by the way.
Yep.
I did not realize that at first, but I guess he was like baby
He was
baby
young
Josh
back
Hutcherson.
then.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Sophie. I'm just like going through some of the voice cast here. Was Emily Mortimer, that's the wife from the brother's wife in Lars and the Real Girl. Yeah, I didn't realize that until,
Oh.
yeah.
Which Sophie?
Young Sophie.
Okay.
Old Sophie is Gene Simons, who was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for Hamlet back in 1948. So
That
she's
makes me
she got some
giggle. She
pedigree.
loses her accent.
Yeah. I mean, they're both British.
Was you do not get British in the old lady voice.
I think you just hear old, I guess. But I mean, if we're talking about people's voices, though, you got to talk Billy Crystal a little bit as Calcifer, though.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same voice actress who did Yubaba and her sister.
Yubaba was Susan Pleshett.
Two
But
Susans.
she was in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
It's a fun one.
Yeah,
Like the horror movie?
if you can call it that. It's a little goofy by today's standards.
They tried.
But
People were apparently
yeah.
very scared of it.
Yeah, back in the day. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Calcifer's adorable, but the voice just gives me Magic Max the whole time.
Oh, she was in The
Oh, is that
Lion
Billy
King
Crystal?
too. Simba's Pride.
I mean, when I think of Billy Crystal, I just think of Mike Wazowski. I just can't think of anything else.
I love Magic Max. Have fun storming the castle.
I'm not going to be able to unhear Mike Wazowski now.
Of course. Lauren Bacall, got to give her points for being the Witch of the Waste. She's way old Hollywood. Lauren Bacall,
She's so
man.
good.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever seen her old movies.
Big Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a shame she didn't have many lines.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Did a really good job with it. Honestly, I think that, the whole cast did really well. Character-wise, I feel like we covered Howl and Sophie a little bit. Everyone else is sort of is really just side characters who are kind of like, some of them have their own plots going on, some of them don't. Like the elder witch lady, Solomon, I think was her name.
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly got something going on, but at the same time is like not fully part of the plot, almost.
Yeah, I think she's like kind of actually like the overarching villain.
Yeah, which is weird. At least feels weird. It's the mom from Meet the Parents, by the way. Blythe Danner played her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't remember this book. I think she was trying to steal Calcifer.
She was at least in the movie, she was trying to get Howl's heart back from Calcifer because she wanted Howl to be her successor for the government position she's in. But that could be entirely different for the book. I have no way of knowing at this current moment.
Oh, Wizard Solomon.
Yeah.
Is he in the book?
Okay.
Originally like Howl, he is from Wales.
All these Welsh
Oh, really?
sort of
Yes.
wizards.
Yes.
Maybe that's how he found out he had powers.
His professor did it, so he tried it too.
They were just desperate to get out of Wales.
So he was Mrs. Penstemmon's second to last pupil. That's the wizard.
Okay.
Mrs. Penstemon is a grand, talented old witch.
Okay.
So
They might have combined those characters into one for the
I
movie.
think they did. They sometimes do that.
I mean, it makes enough sense to condense that, I guess. How did everyone feel about, like, so this whole war subplot is going on because a prince goes missing and the country he went missing from assumes that their rival country did it. So now it's a call to arms and everybody's now fighting each other. Meanwhile, the whole time he was the scarecrow at the beginning of the goddamn movie. And all he needed was Sophie to kiss him, and then he turns into Crispin Freeman, and then everything's fine.
Yep.
And then he hops away, still on the stick.
No, he's off the stick in the movie. Was he still on the stick in the book?
He was still on the stick, at least in the movie. I'm trying to remember the Scarecrow. Was he in the book?
He hopped away on the stick at the end.
He was following them, wasn't he?
He was following them, yes, but when he transforms back into a person, no, he's not a stick anymore.
No, he still has the stick, though. the ending, he hops away on it.
He uses it to float.
Oh, okay.
Like a magic pogo stick?
I was about to be like,
Yes.
you think his body, half of his body is still not there? I'm like, then you didn't fully mess with the curse.
No, he's
the
using
stick
it
just
face.
stayed.
He's just using it as a single stilt. And hopping along.
The
Okay.
stick just stayed, just like Cinderella's glass slipper.
Okay. So the prince
Which
is
is
just...
weird when you think about it, because, like, that was his spine.
Cool. So the prince is just a weirdo. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It gets even more Princess and the Frog in that regard. He's a goof. Honestly, his dad seemed like a goof too. So, yeah, that makes sense. How do we feel about this thing losing at the Oscars to Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit?
What?
I
Yeah.
mean, I liked all 3 films that were nominated that year, so it was just a matter of...
I love Wallace and Gromit, but I don't know.
I will say,
I feel like
there's a lot more that goes into claymation than traditional animation.
Yeah, I'm
That's
a big
true.
fan of stop motion.
Yeah, that... Honestly, I'm looking at... Sometimes with, like, Best Picture in that, it's a little like, okay, there's 2 good ones, and then, like, the rest are like, okay, you politicked your way into this. But, yeah, a lot of times the Best Animated tends to be pretty good. That year was Howl, Wallace and Gromit, and Corpse Bride. That's a pretty good slate. Any of those are really good.
I think Corpse
Yeah.
Bride should have won over Wallace and Gromit.
I don't know, man. I really
Yeah.
like Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That's a really good one for me.
Curse
That's
of
the only
Were-Rabbit
Wallace
is
and
good.
Gromit thing I've ever seen.
Silly.
But-
I think it was like a breakout film for the studio. Whereas Corpse Bride, they'd kind of established themselves already.
That's true.
I guess I just really like how they
No, wasn't
No,
Chicken Run
distinguish
before?
the color
yeah.
palette.
Yeah,
Chicken
Chicken
Run
Run
was
was
before Wallace and
the...
Gromit.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And that was
It
not
was like
nominated
what
for anything.
98?
2000.
Something like that. Okay.
It came out the year before the animated Oscar was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first animated Oscar was in 2001. Well, yeah, 2001.
2001.
And the nominees were Shrek, Monsters, Inc., and Jimmy Neutron, the movie.
Again, what a fantastic slate.
So I gotta just ask, was Beauty and the Beast the only animated movie nominated for just Best Picture?
There
Nope.
have been
Up
other
was
ones
too.
later, but
Okay.
that's part of the reason
was the
that
Why
they
they
decided
made their
to
own
do it.
category, right?
Yeah, it took them a few years after that, but they were like, yeah, we don't want
Yes,
our
'cause
big
how-
producer studio people to be mad if we put another animated film in Best Picture.
I see.
Yes, because how dare an animated movie be considered one of the best films of the year?
Right.
Yeah.
But what if it's just that good, you guys?
I mean, it had some have gotten in there again. Up was nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, was
it had no
it?
chance of winning because they weren't going to let it happen.
I mean,
But-
hell, I'm going way off topic in the Patreon content, but one of the best films of the year last year involved a giant 100-foot lizard. But you know what? I'm going to say it. It was one of the best films of the year last year. But yeah, speaking of the Oscars, Howl was actually the last Miyazaki-directed Ghibli film to be nominated for Best Animated Feature before this year, because obviously Boy and the Heron was nominated. So it's been a while since
Yep.
a Miyazaki Ghibli film was nominated.
Yeah, they don't like anime.
Oh wait, I take that back. I take that back. The Wind Rises was also nominated. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So that was
Oh, his
2013.
other last film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Academy has a bias against anime unless they got Disney money. So,
I'm still mad at them for not nominating Your Name in Silent Voice
Me
in 2016.
too.
But yet,
Yeah.
freaking Boss Baby was nominated.
Yep.
They have so many biases. The whole thing is
They
rigged.
do.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is that they didn't get a screening in America, so the stupid people in the Academy couldn't
No, they
see
did.
it. But
They got
they
it in
did?
under the
They-
line. Yeah, they had one screening in Los Angeles in what was it? 2015 to try to make it into the 2016. I forget
it
exactly.
would have been 2016 going into 2017.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Oh yeah, that's why it gets me pissed off because Boss Baby was nominated instead of that. Admittedly, that year Coco won,
I mean, that was good.
That's pretty
Yeah.
deserved.
But Boss Baby shouldn't have been in there.
Yeah,
at
Boss
all.
Baby should have been in the dumpster out back behind the
I was
Chinese
gonna
theater.
say, no. So, Boss Baby should have just been in the Razzies. Okay.
Maybe. I feel like we're very off topic. Let's get back to
Yeah.
Howl for a little bit. I'm trying to think here. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind talking more about Wallace and Gromit and a few of these other things. I have a number of opinions, but yeah. So, you know what? I know what we got to talk about. I've mentioned this multiple times. We finally got the eggs we deserved.
Yes.
Yes.
I keep saying every single episode, oh, you got to wait
Oh.
for the good eggs. Now we got them good
Yeah.
eggs.
Yeah, the breakfast that Sophie makes or Hal makes, and they make it on Calcifer,
Yeah, Sophie
and then he
made
eats
an
the.
attempt and fucked it.
Yeah.
Bacon and eggs never looked so good.
Well, yeah, you had a magic fire for it. Of course, that's the best bacon and eggs you ever gonna see. I'm trying to think what else to talk about here. Is there any subjects we haven't covered on this?
Score, the music.
Yeah,
Music is beautiful.
lovely
I love
piano
it.
stuff.
As always.
I'm starting, and it might just be because we've been watching multiples of these movies now. It's starting to all sound not the same, but all in the similar vein. Sort of like when you watch like a bunch of Spielberg movies and you constantly hear John Williams.
Is this all the
Yes.
same composer?
It sounds like it, but it might be
Like, same instruments and everything.
Same style. Same
Joe
handwriting.
Hisaishi. I'm butchering the name. I know I'm butchering the name.
Joe Hisaishi.
Hisaishi. Okay, thank you.
He has been associated with director and animator Hayao Miyazaki since 1984.
Their collaboration has been compared to that of director Steven Spielberg and composer John Williams.
There you
Yes.
go.
Also, it's also like the composer for the Your Name, Weathering with You, and Suzume.
Oh, Sound Wimps?
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
Sound,
them.
whatever you...
I mean, wait. Oh, the composer. I thought you meant Radwimps for a minute. I'm like, that's more of like how I feel like I've said Scorsese always wants the Rolling Stones in his movies. But I guess that's not the same comparison. Yeah, good stuff. Always good stuff. He does with piano what John Williams does with horns. Any other thoughts? Things we should discuss here before we go? Any other things we want to talk about just in regard to like the Miyazaki thing? Because this is the last chance we're going to have before, I don't know, his next 50th retirement, I guess.
Miyazaki is, the more I learn about him and the more I learn about his his work and history, he's a great artist. He's a great storyteller.
He's a bad
He's
person.
not a good, well, I was going to say he's not a good boss to work with from what I heard, and he's definitely not a good father. He's a horrible father.
He's
So
a bad person.
So I guess the moral of the story is that don't let your life be dictated by your work. That's kind of a whole cultural thing over there that they've been trying to fight for years. So I'm not going to go into that.
Also, all of your faves are problematic. No one is unproblematic.
Don't meet your
Yeah.
I mean, I love Studio Ghibli. They're one of my favorite anime studios because again, I've seen all their feature films. So even even the obscure ones. So I'll definitely if they change ownership I mean, I know they got bought out by a Japanese TV studio last year, so they're under an ownership in case they don't have a direct successor to Miyazaki. But who knows? I mean, but if worse comes to worse, we'll always have their good films that we could always look back on years later.
I do hope Hayao has at least one more film left in him, and it's better than The Boy and the Heron, because that would be a real stinker to end it on.
We're in the minority when it comes to that film because it's the favorite to win the best animated Oscar this year.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, well, here's the thing. The Academy generally likes what most normal people don't. I find that to be the case.
Yeah, a lot of people like we were in the minority when it came to the opinion of The Boy and the Heron. A lot of people loved it. So, I mean, to each its
By
own.
a lot
I
of people,
suppose.
who do you mean?
critics.
Like, well, not just critics. A lot of people online too liked it. So
I'm sure plenty of people who are not as chronically online as the rest of us probably have the same opinion as us.
Yeah, like, anybody I've, like, actually talked to in person about this movie, like, not even necessarily they thought it was bad, but, like, they didn't think it was good.
Yeah, I mean, we were all kind of met on it. Speaking of rating stuff, we might as well say what we think about Howl. I think I'm a yay here. Possibly a bit of a light yay. I don't know. I think I just love the vibes from the other two movies that we watched recently a little bit more, but still a yay.
I think I'm also a yay, but yeah, I agree. It's always been a lighter yay for me just because certain parts of it feel a little bit disjointed and the ending feels a little bit rushed to me, and I've always kind of held that opinion about it. But I mean, it's such a beautiful, iconic film. I mean, the character designs, like, you know them instantly. It's definitely up there as one of my favorites, but I don't think it's a perfect film by any means. But I'd still give it a light yay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would also give it a light yay. Like, I love a lot about this movie. There are just certain elements that I feel like don't jive with the rest of the vibe it's giving off, but, you know, it's still a good film.
yeah, it's a yay for me. I would say I thought about it. I would say it's probably my fourth favorite Ghibli film behind. Or wait, hold on. I need to think again.
We'll come back to you. Figure out your rankings real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a yay. I think part of it is just like it's iconic. It's a classic. Not my favorite, but like definitely worth a watch.
God. Something that came out in 2004 is a classic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite, yeah.
It's 20 years old, man, and we're still remembering. I feel like that was a thing that someone told me once, was that if you're still talking about a movie 8 years after it comes out, then you know it was good, and if you're talking about it like decades later, you know it's a classic.
Okay, I figured it out. It's number 5. I like Kiki, Nausicaa, Castle in the Sky, and Spirited Away more.
Okay.
I used to like Princess Mononoke more, but I think Mononoke is my 6th now.
I would have been a late yay before I had read the book, but like after reading the book, like it makes sense of all of those things that you're kind of like, wait, what? On if you're going into it blind. So like you do kind of need to have like background context, but it's still really good.
Okay. Well, that's Miyazaki month. Probably won't be another one for a while. Who knows? I mean, what haven't we watched from them of their major releases?
A lot.
Yeah, but
well, major releases.
I'm trying to think of the other ones.
We never did My Neighbor Totoro. But
No,
that's just,
no, we didn't.
Yeah.
Could do a double feature at some point, like they did for the DVD sales. But that's a discussion for another time. For now, we should talk about February a little bit, because it's gonna be a romantic time next month. So we should watch some romantic anime, but we're also fucking weirdos here. So we got a couple weird things coming up. Next week, we're doing, I don't know who suggested this, but it's called Horimiya.
I love that one!
Horimiya.
I think most of this month is coming from Cheebs.
Well, maybe.
No, that was mine.
But
Oh.
okay, so Horimiya, can you give us a 2-sentence description of what that might be?
A high school... Well, hold on.
It's a normie emo love story. That's it.
Normie emo love story. No, we got it. We're good. No,
wait,
no,
hold on.
No. You lost.
Just say it
You lost
anyways.
out.
Just say it anyways. Just say it.
A high school romance that isn't fucking cringe. There.
I like the other version better.
Hard to believe.
All right, moving on. The week after that, we're doing From Me to You. Whose suggestion was that?
Not mine.
Okay, someone better speak up, because I don't even know what that is.
From me to
So,
you? I
yeah.
don't know
Never
what
heard of
is
it.
either. Whose was it?
My God, whose was it?
Yeah, was it Gav?
I mean, it could...
Kimi no Toroke.
Kimi no Toroke. Is that what it is?
That was mine.
Okay, all right. Give me another quickie. What is that?
Don't use that phrase.
Yes, don't use that. But it's basically about this very sad-looking girl who is not actually sad. She doesn't have any friends, but it's about her and this boy, and they develop a friendship and fall in love, and it's cute.
Cool. All right. After that, it's Princess Jellyfish. Who suggested
I
this?
love that one too.
Oh, that one's good.
I love it.
Give me a quick description.
I think I have like 3 or 4 of us
Crossdresser
read
meets
that.
neat.
Yeah, there you go. That works.
What? Two people were talking.
Crossdresser meets neat. Neet.
I'm old. What does that mean?
A neat is like an internet, like...
It's not in employment, something else in training. It's basically someone who doesn't have a job.
Yeah, a Japanese term where basically you live in your room or you basically don't go outside.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. And finally, my contribution to the month is Naruto, Crawling with Love, a harem anime based on H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos.
Wait, have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
We need to finish Sucker for Love.
I'm very curious.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird. Well, I mean, I guess the first 2 are normal-ish, because you guys suggested them. And then we got the weird shit at the end of the month with me. So, looking forward to that. Hope you guys are too, and we'll see you guys when we start all that. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series, Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!